Cuba, a small country located in the Caribbean, has long been known for its uniqueness and authenticity. One of the things that makes Cuba so special is the vintage cars that still operate on the roads. Yes, Cuba is a country with cars that are older than the population. The history of cars in Cuba dates back to the early 20th century, when the United States had a significant influence in the country. Many American citizens owned cars in Cuba, and after the Cuban Revolution in 1959, the new government under Fidel Castro decided to ban the import of new cars. This made vintage cars the only option for Cubans. The vintage cars that operate in Cuba are a testament to the country's history. Many cars that are over 50 years old still operate on the roads, and some are even over 70 years old. These cars have become a part of Cuban culture and are a popular tourist attraction. Many people wonder why these vintage cars still operate in Cuba. The answer is due to the Cuban government's policy of banning new car imports. The Cuban government has banned new car imports since the 1960s, and this has forced Cubans to maintain their vintage cars. In addition, Cuba also has a well-developed car repair industry. Many skilled mechanics in Cuba can repair vintage cars well, which allows these cars to still operate. However, vintage cars also have a negative impact on the environment. Many old cars do not meet strict emission standards, which makes air pollution in Cuba a major problem. The Cuban government has made efforts to reduce emissions from vintage cars. One of the efforts made is to import electric and hybrid cars. However, this effort is still in its early stages, and there is still much work to be done to reduce emissions in Cuba. Once again, it's worth noting that the vintage cars that operate in Cuba are a testament to the country's history and have become a part of Cuban culture. Cuba is also known as the world's largest producer of cigars. Cuban cigars have become a symbol of quality and luxury, and many cigar enthusiasts around the world seek out Cuban cigars to enjoy. But what makes Cuban cigars so special? The history of cigars in Cuba dates back to the 18th century, when tobacco was first grown on the island. Cuban cigars quickly became popular around the world, and Cuba became one of the largest producers of cigars in the world. Cuban cigars are known for their high-quality tobacco and traditional manufacturing process. The process of making Cuban cigars is very traditional and requires a high level of skill. Cuban cigars are made from carefully selected tobacco. And the manufacturing process involves several stages, including tobacco selection, drying, and rolling. Cuban cigars are made by skilled craftsmen who have learned to make cigars from a young age. The quality of Cuban cigars is very high, and many cigar enthusiasts around the world seek out Cuban cigars to enjoy. Cuban cigars are known for their rich flavor and strong aroma, and many consider them to be among the best cigars in the world.